Hi, this is Colette. Today I want to show you some of the ways I like to use the Kaisercraft embossing folders. There are a number of really beautiful designs out there, and these folders are compatible with most embossing and die cutting machines. I'm going to be working with the Bigshot today. So first of all, let's make sure we're all really familiar with the basic embossing. So with the Bigshot machine, I've got tab 1 up, and then I'm going to take my acrylic plate, pop that down. I'm going to take my folder with the card that I'm going to emboss inside. I'm actually using the Roses embossing folder here. So that goes down on my plate. And then I'm going to take my second acrylic plate and I'm going to roll that through. So you can see we have a really nice embossed image with lots and lots of roses on this particular page, and you can see that the embossing is actually really pronounced, which is one of the things I do like about the Kaisercraft embossing folders. Now, one of the techniques that I want to show you involves stamping. Now, I really enjoy stamping on cards, but obviously if you were to go ahead and stamp on this image, you'd have a lot of problems, simply because of all the raised surfaces. So what I want to show you is how I've actually done this card here. And you can see with this card I've got embossing on the top and on the bottom, but not in the middle. This enables me to stamp up my designs really comfortably and combine the two techniques together. So to do that, it's really important that you go ahead and stamp up your design like I have here first of all. So the first step is to go ahead and stamp your design. I've used the Chase Rainbow Clear Stamp set from Kaisercraft together with the Saffron and Tangelo ink pads from Kaisercraft. I've just randomly stamped them up on this beautiful little doily here. So once my stamping's done, I can then start the embossing. So to emboss with this, it really is quite simple. What we need to do is we need to take our multi-purpose platform for the Bigshot and put that down with tab 1 showing. Tab 1 is always showing for embossing. And the next thing we need to do is we need to take our cardstock and we need to pop our cardstock in to where we want to emboss. So I'm going to use the design here to help me straighten things up a little bit so I can see that it's on the same point, because this design does repeat. So I'm going to put my acrylic plate down on my multi-purpose platform, my image. I find it easier to go in this way, and then my plate again. Now, if you remember that golden rule that the embossing will only occur between the actual plates. Okay, so that's that section there. And you can see now I have just got the embossing here on that top section. So I then go ahead and I repeat that on the bottom. So we then have tab 1 as before. We have an acrylic plate going down, and then I'll take my end section and I'm just going to pop that down. That's going to go through. I might do that a bit further down, and then I'm going to pop that in there and roll that through. Pretty easy, really. Okay. So now you can see that I have got embossing at the top and embossing here at the bottom. Now, just to fine tune and make that look much better, what I do like to do is then just to grab my embossed piece here and a scoreboard, and I just like to, on the back, line up where the embossing has actually finished. I'll just zoom in a little bit here if I can. Where the embossing has actually finished, and then I just like to run that down, and I'll do that on the other side as well. So what that will show you is that you can see I've got the beautiful embossing and it's tidied up and finished off with this score line, both top and bottom. So that's really how you can go ahead and do embossing on the top and on the bottom of your card, so you can make your stamping really easy. Now, one of the other techniques that I have done with this card is I have taken a couple of Copic markers. You could use the Kaisercraft markers, any kind of markers would actually do, and I've had a bit of fun by colouring. So all I have done here is I've gently just gone on the raised sections, and it's quite hard actually to go outside of the line, so you just kind of follow that and then continue with that, maybe adding a little bit of a different colour here and there. Okay, and that will really start to enhance the design even more. So going back to this original card that I've done, you can see here that it's really kind of added a bit of a Moroccanish slant to the card here with the colouring of the raised embossed images. So that's the first technique. You'll get full instructions for all the cards that I'm showing you on the video today on the Kaisercraft blog, so you can go ahead and actually copy these and make these yourself. The next technique that I want to show you is a kind of a step up from this one. It's where I really do want to continue with stamping, but this time I just want to emboss the center, not the two ends. So to do that, I've created this card for you, and you can see here that I've got the embossing just here on the middle section of the card. So let me show you how I've gone ahead and done that. So let's get the Bigshot back into play here, and I'm actually using the Damask folder from Kaisercraft, beautiful folder, and again following the same rules on the platform. We need to just make sure that we are going to emboss in the middle. So I'm going to position this about halfway down or thereabouts, and what I want to do is to get part of that beautiful, actually no, I can see this lovely damask motif here. I'm going to try and center that up. So I'm going to want to emboss in the middle. So I'm going to emboss this bit here in the middle of my folder, and what I need to do is to take my acrylic plate, pop that down as before, and this time I'm going to just put the acrylic plate on the bit that I want to emboss. So that's the bit down here. Okay, so if you can actually see, my embossing acrylic plate is going halfway up, in fact just to the top of where that motif is. Once I'm happy with all of that, I'm going to roll that through. Okay, so now you can see I have simply got my embossing here in the section of my card. And again, just to finish that off, I would take my scoreboard and I would turn it over to the wrong side, and I would score a line top and bottom of my embossed design. And that tidies it up really nicely, and it makes it look really nice and kind of professional. So one of the things that I did to enhance my card, this time instead of using markers, I just got the Kaisercraft vintage ink pad, and what I did now was to go ahead and really gently ink up. So I'm just brushing this across really gently, and that ink grabs the raised embossed design, so that damask design is really lovely and pronounced. So you can spend a bit longer than I am on the video, but that gives you a good idea of what the effect is. So really pretty. Isn't it great, that damask folder? Really nice. So once again, the card that I've actually used or designed for you, this one here with the butterfly, is going to have full instructions following the video. The butterfly that I die cut was once again from Kaisercraft, and it is the decorative die just called Butterflies, which is really pretty. And the ink pads and the stamps that I used were from the Chase Rainbow collection, and I used some of the vintage ink, some of the vintage ink and some of the gum leaf and green. So I inked up the doily design with those three to create this effect.